Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
What you will find often when you read those books, there are one-man efforts, number one. They're one-man efforts. And that person is usually extracting portions from books, leaving out what is before and what is after. And when you find that, you're going to find when you examine, take the book that you're reading, like the book of these four, the belief of the four Imams, and research every book they use as a resource. And then you will find the exact opposite of what they're quoting in those books. You go to the reference books and read the reference books, the books that they're supposed to extract from. They're supposed to take this information from their book. Go to those books, those original texts, and observe what is the position of those authors. I'll give you an example. If you read a book they call the Noble Quran, an English translation, on that cover of that book, which is a translation of the Quran, not the Quran, and I repeat to everyone who is listening, that is a translation of the Quran, not the Quran. They say that it is extracted from Sahih al-Bukhari, al-Tabari, al-Qurtubi, and other books like this. Now, you look at those translations, you look at all of those quotes in there, go back to the books of al-Tabari, on those very verses that they interpret literally, go back to the book of al-Tabari, go back to the book of al-Qurtubi, go to the commentaries on Sahih al-Bukhari, and you will find the exact opposite of what they got in the book. It comes to a point where you say, okay, the person's a common person, you may excuse the common person. Like we are common people, we may make a lot of errors. But when people who are supposed to be scholars are doing this, you know this is intentional. And that's why you can have no doubt to say it is an intentional means to mislead people from the way of the Prophet ﷺ. It is intentional, because if these people would write these books and publish these books and say that these Imams had a creed, remember, the chain is not broken. You cannot break the chain. If you look at all of this, I'll give you an example. Everyone, they say Abu-Hanifah's creed. The representation of the creed of Abu-Hanifah is reflected in the aqidah of Imam Abu Ja'far al-Tahawi, radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. The creed of al-Tahawi. The opening section, Imam al-Tahawi says, هذا ذكر بيان عقيدة أهل السنة والجماعة. This is a mentioning of the creed of أهل السنة والجماعة. He described them as أهل السنة والجماعة. على مذهب فقهاء الملة أبي حنيفة النعمان بن ثابت الكوفي وأبي يوسف يعقوب بن إبراهيم الأنصاري وأبي عبد الله محمد بن حسن الشيباني رضوان الله عليهم أجمعين. This is according to the madhhab, the school of Abu Hanifa, his two companions, Abu Yusuf and Muhammad ibn Hassan al-Shaybani. This is al-Tahawi. And then al-Tahawi goes on and talks about Allah, and he said Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is clear from the 6 directions. The Salafi verifier, the muhaqqiq of that book, who wrote a note, he wrote in there, في قول المؤلف النظر. In the statement of the author should be something we should look into. This is Abu Ja'far al-Tahawi. He said Allah is clear from the 6 directions. He says we need to look into this. Subhanallah. Abu Ja'far al-Tahawi, continuous chain back to Abu Hanifa. So should we reject the one who has the continuous chain and go to the one who has a broken chain?
No? MashaAllah.
And this is the way you're able to evaluate. The person is this. If you bring the book, fine. Let's bring the book and let's research. Bring original sources. Don't bring your sources that are quoted. Because this is a problem. It's easy for me to take an excerpt of a book and then put it in another book and tell you this is what the author said. Bring the original book of the author. Let's see if the author, to his book, the book is there. Let's see if he's saying what you're saying. And you will find, because all of those books they're quoting from were Ash'aris and following Madhhabs. That's the whole thing. The books that they used to quote, the scholars were on the path that they're refuting. Where they're getting the statements of Abu-Hanifah and Malik and Shafi'i are from the books of Ash'ari, Hanafi, and Shafi'i scholars.
MashaAllah.
Ya Allah, please help me. Ya Allah, please guide me. Ya Allah, bestow your mercy upon